Most people believe that poor brain blood flow only happens after a serious illness. They think it's caused by disease, bad luck, or something sudden. But for many people over 70, brain blood flow doesn't decline overnight. It slowly changes because of everyday habits. Habits that feel normal, habits repeated quietly, day after day. You may not feel sick. You may not feel pain. And most days, you may feel just fine. Yet certain daily routines can gradually reduce how efficiently blood reaches the brain. Not enough to cause alarm, but enough to create subtle changes over time. Moments of dizziness, slight mental fog, less steady balance. These signs often seem unrelated, but they are often connected. Understanding how everyday habits affect brain blood flow is not about fear. It's about awareness. Because what you do consistently matters more than what you do occasionally. And recognizing these habits early can help you support brain health and confidence as you age. Many seniors are surprised to hear that everyday habits can affect brain blood flow. They assume that if nothing feels seriously wrong, then nothing important is happening. You may eat regular meals. You may take your medications. You may go to your appointments and hear that things look acceptable. So when subtle changes appear, they're easy to explain away. Feeling a little slower than before. Needing more time to focus. Feeling slightly unsteady now and then. Most people don't connect these experiences to circulation. They assume it's stress, or poor sleep, or simply getting older. This belief is very common, especially after 70. At this stage of life, people expect change. They expect some decline. And because expectations are lower, warning signs are easier to overlook. What often goes unnoticed is that the brain depends on consistency. It needs blood to arrive smoothly, minute after minute, to function well. Even small disruptions, when repeated often, can affect how the brain feels and performs. The challenge is that these disruptions don't feel dramatic. There's no sharp pain, no sudden event, just small shifts that blend into daily life. Over time, many seniors adapt instead of questioning what's happening. They slow down. They avoid situations that feel demanding. They accept mental fog or balance changes as unavoidable. Adaptation helps daily life continue. But it also hides patterns. The truth is, many of the habits that affect brain blood flow are not obvious. They don't look unhealthy. They don't feel risky. They are things people do every day without thinking. Sitting for long periods, drinking less water than the body needs, sleeping poorly, moving less than before. None of these habits cause immediate harm. That's why they're easy to ignore. But over months and years, they can quietly influence how efficiently blood reaches the brain. This doesn't mean something serious is happening right now. And it doesn't mean fear is useful. It means awareness matters. When seniors understand that everyday habits play a role, they gain something important. Choice. Choice to notice patterns. Choice to make small adjustments. Choice to support the brain before problems become harder to address. This shift from nothing is wrong to something may be worth noticing is one of the most powerful changes a person can make after 70. And it sets the stage for understanding which habits matter most and why. The brain is one of the most demanding organs in the body. Even though it represents a small percentage of body weight, it consumes a large portion of the body's blood supply every single day. Unlike muscles, the brain cannot rest. It works constantly, thinking, balancing, reacting, and regulating the body without pause. Because of this, the brain depends on steady and reliable blood flow, not just during activity, but at all times. When blood flow is smooth, the brain functions quietly in the background. You don't think about it. Balance feels natural. Thinking feels clear, but when blood flow becomes less consistent, the brain responds quickly, not with pain, not with dramatic warning signs, but with subtle changes, a moment of mental fog, a brief loss of focus, a feeling that things take more effort than before. As we age, blood vessels naturally change. They may become less flexible. They may not widen and narrow as quickly as they once did. At the same time, the systems that regulate blood pressure and circulation become slower to respond. This makes the brain more sensitive to everyday habits. Habits that reduce circulation slightly may not matter much at a younger age, but after 70, the margin for error becomes smaller. Long periods of sitting, mild dehydration, poor sleep, limited movement. Each of these habits can reduce blood flow just a little. Not enough to cause immediate problems, but enough to create repeated small interruptions. The brain adapts to these interruptions. It compensates, but compensation requires effort. Over time, this effort can contribute to fatigue, reduced clarity, and changes in balance, not because something suddenly breaks, but because the system is under quiet, ongoing strain. This is why everyday habits matter so much. They don't act once, they act repeatedly. And repetition is what shapes long-term circulation patterns. Understanding how sensitive the brain is helps explain why small habits can have a big impact over time. It also explains why awareness, rather than fear, is the most useful response. When seniors recognize how daily routines influence blood flow, they gain the ability to support the brain gently and consistently. That understanding prepares us to look more closely at specific habits that many seniors follow without realizing how much they affect brain circulation. Up next, we'll begin with one of the most common habits of all, one that feels comfortable and safe, but can quietly reduce blood flow when it becomes routine. Sitting for long periods is one of the most common daily habits among seniors. It often feels comfortable. It feels safe. And for many people, it becomes the default position throughout the day. After 70, many seniors sit more to avoid discomfort, fatigue, or dizziness. They rest more often. They move less frequently. And without realizing it, hours pass with very little movement. The issue is not sitting itself. It's how long the body stays still. When you sit for extended periods, blood flow slows, especially in the lower body. Muscles are not contracting enough to help push blood back toward the heart. This causes circulation to become less efficient overall. When circulation slows, the brain can receive blood less consistently. Not enough to cause immediate symptoms, but enough to reduce how smoothly blood reaches the brain during daily activities. Over time, long periods of sitting can affect how blood vessels respond to changes in position. They may become less responsive. They may not adjust as quickly when you stand, walk, or turn your head. This can contribute to subtle signs like lightheadedness, mental fog, or feeling less steady. Because these signs are mild, they are often ignored. Many seniors unconsciously adapt. They stand up more slowly. They pause before walking. They avoid sudden movements. These adjustments help manage discomfort, but they also hide the underlying habit. What makes prolonged sitting tricky is that it feels harmless. There is no pain, no immediate consequence. But circulation depends on movement. Even gentle movement helps blood flow upward and keeps blood vessels responsive. Breaking this habit does not require exercise or strain. It requires regular changes in position. Standing up every so often, walking for a few minutes, gently moving the legs and upper body throughout the day. These small actions help support circulation and reduce the quiet strain that builds when the body stays still for too long. Recognizing prolonged sitting as a habit is an important step, because once movement is reintroduced consistently, the brain often receives blood more smoothly during everyday activities. Next, we'll look at another habit that often goes unnoticed, one related to hydration and how even mild dehydration can quietly affect brain blood flow over time. Not drinking enough water is one of the most overlooked habits affecting brain blood flow after 70, and it often happens without any clear warning signs. As we age, the body's thirst signal becomes weaker. You may not feel thirsty even when your body needs fluids. So it's easy to go hours without drinking water, especially if you're busy or resting. Some seniors also limit water intake on purpose. They want to avoid frequent trips to the bathroom. They worry about sleep disruption or bladder control. The problem is that even mild dehydration can affect circulation. When the body lacks enough fluid, blood becomes thicker and moves more slowly. This makes it harder for blood to travel smoothly through blood vessels, especially the smaller ones that supply the brain. When blood flow slows, the brain may receive oxygen less efficiently. Not enough to cause immediate alarm, but enough to create subtle effects over time. You may notice increased fatigue, more frequent lightheadedness, or a feeling that thinking requires more effort than usual. Because these changes are gradual, they're easy to blame on aging or poor sleep. Hydration is rarely considered the cause. What makes this habit especially tricky is that dehydration doesn't always feel dramatic. There may be no dry mouth, no strong discomfort, just a quiet reduction in circulation efficiency. Consistent hydration helps maintain healthy blood volume. It supports stable blood pressure, and it helps blood move more easily to the brain during everyday activities. Improving hydration does not mean drinking large amounts all at once. It means small, regular intake throughout the day, sipping water regularly, drinking with meals, and paying attention to fluid intake even when you don't feel thirsty. Recognizing low hydration as a daily habit is important. Because it's one of the simplest ways to support brain blood flow and reduce strain on blood vessels. When hydration improves, many seniors notice clearer thinking, better energy, and fewer moments of lightheadedness. Up next, we'll look at another common habit that affects brain circulation. One related to sleep and how poor or fragmented sleep can quietly reduce blood flow to the brain over time. Poor or fragmented sleep is another everyday habit that quietly affects brain blood flow after 70. Many seniors accept poor sleep as normal. They wake up several times a night. They struggle to fall back asleep, and they assume this is just part of aging. Sleep, however, plays a critical role in how the brain restores itself. During deep sleep, blood flow patterns in the brain change in a way that supports recovery and repair. This is when the brain clears waste products and resets its systems for the next day. When sleep is short or frequently interrupted, this process becomes less effective. The brain doesn't fully recover. Blood vessels don't relax as they should, and circulation regulation becomes less efficient the following day. After a poor night's sleep, many seniors notice subtle changes. They feel more foggy. Their balance feels less steady. They feel more sensitive to standing or moving quickly. These effects are often blamed on tiredness alone, but they are closely tied to how well blood is flowing to the brain. Over time, repeated nights of poor sleep can place ongoing strain on the circulatory system. Blood pressure regulation becomes less stable. Blood vessels may remain slightly constricted longer than they should. This makes it harder for blood to reach the brain smoothly during the day, especially during moments of movement, stress, or dehydration. What makes sleep issues especially tricky is that many seniors adapt to them. They nap during the day. They reduce activity. They accept lower energy as normal. These adaptations help manage fatigue, but they don't address the underlying impact on brain circulation. Another factor is routine. Watching television late into the evening, irregular bedtimes, long daytime naps. These habits can further disrupt sleep cycles, even if total sleep time seems adequate. Supporting better sleep does not require perfection, and it does not mean forcing the body into strict schedules. It means paying attention to consistency, going to bed at similar times, reducing stimulation before sleep, allowing the body enough uninterrupted rest. Even small improvements in sleep quality can help blood vessels relax more fully at night. This supports better circulation the next day and reduces the quiet strain that builds with ongoing sleep disruption. Recognizing poor sleep as a habit rather than an unavoidable condition gives seniors an opportunity to support brain blood flow not only during the night, but throughout the day. Next, we'll look at another habit that affects circulation in a very physical way. One related to movement in the upper body and how stiffness in the neck and shoulders can quietly limit blood flow to the brain. Another everyday habit that quietly affects brain blood flow is limited movement in the neck, shoulders, and upper back. Many seniors move their legs and arms regularly, but the upper body often stays stiff and still for long periods. This area of the body is especially important for brain circulation. Major blood vessels that supply the brain travel through the neck. When the muscles around these vessels become tight or rigid, blood flow can be affected. After 70, stiffness in the neck and shoulders becomes more common. People spend more time sitting. They hold their heads in the same position while watching television or reading, and movement becomes more cautious overall. Over time, this lack of movement can reduce flexibility in the muscles and tissues surrounding the blood vessels. When flexibility is reduced, blood may not flow as freely during everyday activities. This does not cause sharp pain or obvious symptoms. Instead, it can contribute to subtle effects: a feeling of pressure in the head, more frequent lightheadedness, or increased difficulty maintaining focus for long periods. Because these sensations are mild, they are rarely connected to neck or shoulder stiffness. Most seniors assume the issue is fatigue or poor sleep. Another factor is posture. Slouching or holding the head forward places extra strain on the neck. This posture can further limit circulation over time. Many seniors adapt without realizing it. They turn their whole body instead of their head. They avoid looking up or to the side. They accept reduced range of motion as normal. These adaptations help avoid discomfort, but they also reinforce the habit of limited movement. Supporting brain blood flow does not require aggressive stretching or exercise. It begins with gentle, regular movement, slowly turning the head side to side, rolling the shoulders, changing posture throughout the day. These small movements help keep muscles flexible and support healthy circulation to the brain. What matters most is consistency. Brief, gentle movement repeated daily is more effective than occasional effort. Recognizing limited neck and shoulder movement as a habit allows seniors to make simple adjustments that support blood flow without strain or risk. Next, we'll look at another habit closely tied to the topics we've discussed before, one that involves ignoring early signals the body sends and how that habit quietly reduces awareness over time. One habit that quietly reduces awareness and increases strain on brain blood flow is ignoring mild symptoms because they don't feel serious. Many seniors experience small changes and assume they are not worth attention. These signs often include brief dizziness, momentary blurred vision, lightheadedness, or a short feeling of imbalance. They appear suddenly. They disappear quickly. And life continues as usual. Because the symptoms are mild, they're easy to dismiss. People tell themselves they stood up too fast. They didn't sleep well. They didn't drink enough water that day. While these explanations may be true at times, the habit of always brushing symptoms aside can hide important patterns. The body often sends early signals long before more noticeable problems appear. These signals are subtle by design. They are meant to prompt awareness, not fear. When blood flow to the brain is briefly reduced, the brain compensates. It recovers quickly. But repeated episodes place quiet stress on the system over time. Ignoring these moments allows that stress to continue unnoticed. The body adapts, the brain adjusts, and awareness slowly fades. Many seniors avoid mentioning mild symptoms because they don't want to worry family members. Others don't want to feel like they are complaining. Some fear being told that nothing can be done. As a result, important information is often left out of conversations about health. What makes this habit especially impactful is repetition. One isolated moment means very little, but repeated moments tell a story. Patterns of dizziness, visual changes, or balance issues often point to how well the brain is being supplied with blood during everyday activities. Breaking this habit doesn't mean reacting to every sensation. It means noticing when certain signs occur repeatedly or in similar situations. Awareness helps seniors shift from dismissal to observation. From this is nothing to this happens often. That shift creates space for better understanding and better decisions. And it supports earlier responses, when gentle adjustments are often more effective. Recognizing repeated mild symptoms as meaningful signals helps protect both brain, blood flow, and long-term confidence. Next, we'll look at the habit that has the greatest influence of all. A belief so common that it quietly prevents many seniors from responding early, even when the body is clearly asking for attention. The habit with the greatest impact on brain blood flow after 70 is not physical. It's a belief. The belief that changes in the body are unavoidable, that feeling slower, foggier, or less steady is simply the price of aging. This belief is extremely common, and it's often reinforced by people around us. Friends say it, family members repeat it, and sometimes even casual medical conversations unintentionally support it. Over time, this belief becomes automatic. When dizziness happens, it's dismissed. When balance feels off, it's ignored. When thinking feels slower, it's accepted without question. The problem is not aging itself. The problem is assuming that every change is normal and unchangeable. This habit quietly shuts down awareness. Instead of noticing patterns, seniors adapt. They move more cautiously. They limit activities. They plan their day around discomfort rather than understanding its cause. These adaptations help daily life continue, but they also hide early warning signs. Blood vessels may continue to stiffen, circulation may continue to adjust less efficiently, and the brain may continue working with less support than it needs. What makes this habit especially powerful is that it delays action without creating alarm. There is no urgency, no clear moment that says, "Pay attention now." Yet, many age-related changes are influenced by habits, circulation, and support systems that can still be addressed, not reversed overnight, but supported meaningfully. Accepting decline too quickly can prevent seniors from noticing when the body is asking for help that might come in the form of simple adjustments, movement, hydration, better sleep, or simply paying closer attention to patterns. This does not mean fighting age or denying reality. It means staying curious. Curiosity asks questions instead of making assumptions. Curiosity notices repetition instead of dismissing moments. When seniors shift from "this is just aging" to "why is this happening," they regain something important: choice. Choice to observe. Choice to support the body. Choice to remain engaged with health rather than resigning to decline. Breaking this habit doesn't require fear or drastic change. It requires awareness and willingness to listen to what the body is saying now, not what it said years ago. Recognizing that aging and decline are not the same thing is one of the most important steps toward protecting brain blood flow and confidence after 70. Before making any changes based on what you've learned, it's important to slow down and focus on safety. Because when it comes to brain, blood flow, and circulation, rushing or overreacting can sometimes do more harm than good. Many seniors feel tempted to change everything at once. They adjust routines, they add supplements, they stop habits abruptly. But the body responds best to gradual, thoughtful support. Reduced brain blood flow is rarely caused by one single habit alone. It's usually the result of multiple small factors working together over time. That's why there is no single quick fix. Medications prescribed by healthcare professionals should never be stopped or changed without guidance. These medications are often essential for managing blood pressure, heart rhythm, or other conditions that affect circulation. Supplements and dietary changes also deserve caution. More is not always better, especially after 70. The body absorbs and processes nutrients differently with age, and sudden increases can create unwanted effects. Paying attention to patterns is one of the safest steps you can take. Notice when symptoms appear. Notice what activities seem to trigger them, and notice whether they are becoming more frequent or more noticeable over time. These observations provide valuable information, not for panic, but for understanding. Safety also means reducing fall risk while awareness increases. Standing up slowly, giving the body time to adjust, keeping living spaces clear and well lit. These small habits protect confidence while you work on supporting circulation more intentionally. The goal is not to eliminate every sensation or achieve perfect health. It's to reduce unnecessary strain on the brain and blood vessels over time. Approaching these habits with patience allows the body to respond naturally. Consistency matters far more than intensity. When changes are made carefully and with awareness, many seniors find that symptoms become less disruptive and daily life feels more stable. That steady progress is what truly supports long-term brain health and independence. Brain, blood flow rarely changes because of one big mistake. More often, it changes slowly through small habits repeated every day. Sitting too long, not drinking enough water, sleeping poorly, moving less in the neck and upper body, ignoring mild warning signs, and believing that change is simply part of aging. Individually, these habits may not seem important. They don't cause pain. They don't stop daily life right away. But over time, they can quietly reduce how smoothly blood reaches the brain. What matters most is not fear, but awareness. Awareness allows you to see patterns instead of isolated moments. It helps you recognize when the body is adapting well and when it may be under strain. Supporting brain blood flow does not require extreme actions. It requires consistency, small movements throughout the day, regular hydration, better sleep habits, gentle awareness of balance, clarity, and energy. These simple actions support the systems that deliver oxygen and nutrients to the brain, and they help reduce the quiet strain that builds over years. Many seniors believe that once they reach a certain age, decline is inevitable. But in many cases, everyday habits still play a meaningful role. Paying attention to how the body responds does not mean something is wrong. It means you are engaged. Engagement creates options. Options to adjust gently. Options to support circulation. Options to stay confident in daily movement and thinking. If you recognized any of these habits in yourself, take that awareness as a positive step. Change does not need to happen all at once, and it does not need to be overwhelming. One small adjustment at a time can make a difference over the long run. In the next video, we'll talk about what helps improve brain blood flow after 70. Simple daily actions that support circulation and clarity without strain or risk. Understanding both what reduces blood flow and what supports it gives you a clearer picture. A picture that helps you stay proactive rather than reactive as you age. Thank you for spending this time learning about your health. Staying informed is one of the most powerful ways to protect independence, confidence, and quality of life in the years ahead.